Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Christina. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my monthly reads, what I read in May. So yes, this is my wrap up. I know I have been doing my wrap ups a little bit different lately due to it being easier for me to film right after I finish a book, but your girl is kind of dumb and she deleted the footage off her camera from every book that I've already finished. So now I have to do the old-fashioned way and just combine everything all in one. So I hope you guys will bear with me, and I hope I do justice for each book that I talk to you guys about today. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about is I know there are some of you here on my channel that love watching my beauty content, and I just want to let you guys know that beauty content will be coming out maybe beginning of June, not middle June, but like towards the beginning of June obviously, but definitely not the first week of June, maybe like the second week of June. I'm not too sure yet. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that I've recently hurt my back. I sprained my lower back muscle, so I have to stand up to feel any kind of comfortability. Is that even a word? I don't know, but for me to be any kind of comfortable, I have to be standing up. I can't sit down for a long period of time or my back starts really killing me. I injured my back, and yeah, so it's gonna take me a couple of days to get to a place where I can be at least a little comfortable to sit for a long period of time. So I'm sorry for you guys. Please be patient for those who like watching my beauty content, and if you are here for both books and beauty, thank you guys, and I hope you guys are patient with me as well. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. I'm doing okay today, but I'm still in a lot of pain, and I'm hoping that it'll start feeling a little bit better day by day as I don't try to do a lot of activities. So yeah, anyways, we're gonna go ahead and jump into what I read in May. Okay, so I did participate in the mental health-a-thon. So if you guys have not seen my TBR, I did base everything that I was going to read for the month of May with mental health representation. I got the idea from Madison. Her channel is Madison Green. You guys should definitely go check her out. I love watching her content. I love her videos. She's so informative and very detailed when it comes to the books that she's read, and she just gives you the most detail that you need to get you interested in wanting to read a book. So definitely go check her out. I will leave her channel down below. Every book that I talk to you guys about, I will let you know triggers, so that way I don't trigger anybody. And if you aren't ready to watch this type of video, then that's totally fine. I get it. I understand completely. But yeah, I will definitely give you guys the trigger warnings for each book that I go through, and just kind of really give you guys the idea of the book and what I rated it. So the first book I decided to pick up for this month is actually a reread for me, and this is We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. This is a book about two girls, Marin and Mabel. Marin has got up and went off to college, and what I mean by got up, she literally packed like what she needed and just took off without anybody knowing, and hasn't spoken to anybody for 3 months. And she does this because she has discovered some things that she didn't think could be possible, and she just cannot face the reality of it. So she decides that it's just best for her to just go off and kind of leave everything in the past, or everything that she once was in the past. I will say that this book does deal with anxiety and depression. So those are the triggers for you guys. If you're not interested in reading something that deals with those two topics, then I say do not read this. Now, throughout the story, Marin has pretty much got back in contact with Mabel and decides to come out and tell her everything that's happened and why she has chosen to kind of just leave everything behind and move forward. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I also said in my TBR that this was the first book to the next book, and the next book I was talking about, let me see if I can find it. I was talking about this book right here. For some reason my mind thought that this was going to be book number 2, but it's actually not. These are both 2 standalones. This is the one that I was talking about. They're both standalones, so I apologize in my TBR video for giving that false information. I don't know what I just automatically thought that it was going to be like a sequel, but it's not. That's actually a totally different story that deals with also it does have a mental health representation in that. So I should have read that one for this month, but honestly I just could not fit it into my TBR for this month because I got Animal Crossing and it's been taking over my life. So yeah. The next book I decided to pick up is another reread for me, and that is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I actually I listened to this on audio along with reading along with it. This also deals with anxiety, depression, and antisocial, and I guess it does have like a tiny bit of, I guess, like child abuse somewhat, because one of the main characters' mom is very like verbally abusive, and I doesn't necessarily say that she's physical, but she's very mental and verbal abusive. So I will say that does come up a little bit in this story. So the two main character is Frances and Alid. Frances is a girl who is super obsessed with this podcast called University, and she is so obsessed with it that she actually does fan art under a anonymous artist. And yeah, until one day the creator of her favorite podcast reaches out to her and pretty much says, hey, I love your work, would you like to do some art for my podcast? And she was completely mind blown and just didn't believe that it was happening. So she did agree to it. Along the way she does discover who the creator is, which I don't want to tell you guys too much, but Alid is one of her best friends as well, or becomes one of her best friends, because they both share the same interests, if you know what I mean. They share the same interests in the same exact thing. So yeah, I don't know how to talk too much about this book without giving anything away, but I will say that this was a solid 5 out of 5 stars for me. I loved the book. Just the way it's written, I totally related to the character as well, just being the person that tries to be one person but is somebody different behind closed doors. I can totally relate to that. I say this is a 5 out of 5 stars because this is a book that I can see myself rereading over and over and over and over again. It's just a good story about two teenagers who love the same thing and become friends over it. So yeah, that's pretty much all I'm gonna say, because I know there are a lot of people out there that still want to read this story and I don't want to spoil it for anybody. So yeah, if you are interested in reading this book, I say go for it. Like I did give you the trigger warnings for it, so be mindful of that. But other than that, it's a really good read, and I feel like it can be relatable to a lot of people. The next book I picked up is Made You Up by Francesca Zappia. So I've actually had this on my TBR for a very long time. I've wanted to read it for a long time, but I recently just picked it up, and this readathon kind of pushed me to pick it up. So yeah, I gave this book a 3.5 stars. Not to say that I was kind of, okay, let me take that back. I was kind of between 3.5 and 4 stars, but more towards the 3.5. And I will say that it was just kind of hard to get into because the character, she is somebody that deals with schizophrenia, and it was a lot of back and forth between her fighting with her mind and her trying to figure out what's real and what's not real. And yeah, she was a very paranoid person. So I will say that this does have some anxiety in it, but she does deal with schizophrenia, and she does have to battle figuring out what's real and what's not real. And her family doesn't really help her much with that because they don't want to upset her. So her idea is to take pictures of everything and to look back later on it when she feels like she's come back to herself or come back to normal, so that way she can pretty much look at the pictures to determine whether she really saw it or if she really didn't see it, or if she really didn't see it. And this main character, her name is Alexandra, but everybody calls her Alex. So yeah, the only thing I will say is the only reason why I rated a 3.5 stars, like I said, it was just kind of hard to understand, I guess. I don't know, it was kind of hard for me to keep up because it's the main character talking the whole time, but you also read her inner thoughts, and then she also consoles in a magic 8-ball. And yeah, I mean, we get a lot of personality, not a lot of personalities, but you know, she battles with herself and I'm just saying it was a good read. And if you want to give this book a go, I say give it a go. I feel like it's still worth reading, but just know that you probably will get a little frustrated with having to go back and forth between her and her mind and her consoling an 8-ball. I will say that like majority of this book was her fighting with herself, and it didn't pick up until like close to the very end. I want to say like the last like 5 chapters it picked up and the story changed a bit. So yeah. The next book I read was Guts by Raina Telgemeier. So I just found out while I was reading this book that Raina is actually the main character in this story. So in this story we do follow a girl who has tummy issues, and by tummy issues I mean she either will puke or she will, you know, have to run to the restroom, and you know, so yeah. At first she thought it was a stomach bug, but she realized that it would happen more frequently whenever she was scared or anxious. So that's when her parents decided to send her off to a therapist to go and get down to the root of the problem. So yeah, Raina does deal with anxiety. She's an overthinker. She gets nervous. She's scared. And all these result into her getting sick. So that's pretty much it with the story. It's just a bunch of back and forth with her. Look how cute the artwork is in here. It's so colorful. But yeah, once she gets something in her mind, it like she starts overthinking, and that's really her main problem, is just overthinking and getting scared and just nervous. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this book, because that's really all it is just her figuring out why she gets so upset and just really trying to control it the best she can, so that way she doesn't constantly have to run off to the restroom to go do what she has to do. Yeah, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it. I love the artwork in it, and I definitely want to pick up more books like this from the middle grade section by Raina Telgemeier. And the last book I picked up for this month had nothing to do with the readathon. It was actually a book that I picked up for a collaboration that I'm doing with Brooke. I think her channel is Brooke Clark, or Brooke and Books, I believe. But I will leave her channel down below. I'm collaborating with her and 50 other people. We were supposed to pick a book based out on our towns or our cities or states. Sorry, my brain is everywhere right now. So we were supposed to pick a book based out on our state, and the book that I chose was Under the Mesquite by Guadalupe Garcia Macal. This is a book based out in Texas. If you don't know, I'm from Texas. I live here in Texas, born and raised here in Texas. So yeah, I picked this book up. This is about a girl named Lupita, and she and her family are from Mexico, and they uprooted to Eagle Pass, Texas. Her family has very high hopes and dreams for her to become a writer. They feel like she's a very talented writer, and they feel like she can get very far with her writing because how beautiful she writes. Not like her handwriting, I'm talking about like she's just a great storyteller. So yeah, when they moved to the States, she decided that she wanted to try out for acting, so she joins the theater club at her high school. She is the oldest of 8 siblings, and everything is going smooth until one day they get very sad news. They find out that their mom has been diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and this kind of puts Lupita in a situation where she has to step up and help her mom out a lot more around the house. While her dad is away at work, she helps her mom keep everything in order at home because she is the oldest sibling. She has to somewhat kind of grow up a bit more, just so that way she can help her mom take care of the kids and make sure that they go off to school and that they eat and everything that her mom cannot do at this time. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I love the book. I thought it was really good. It's definitely something that I can relate to as well. Being that I am a middle child, I had to grow up at a fairly young age. I had to act as an adult because of my situation, even though my situation is completely different from hers. I can totally relate. So I definitely had to be the big sister. Even though I was the middle sister, I had to be the big sister. If you are interested in reading this book because of what I talked about, it's also very family oriented, it's very wholesome, it's very culture. They stick to their roots. From being in Mexico, like they stick to that root, to their roots and their culture. And there is even Spanish in here. I'm Hispanic and I know no Spanish, but just being able to read a little bit about it, I know like very little when it comes to Spanish, like the basic, but I could never carry on a conversation. So being able to read words that were in Spanish kind of made me proud. And then also Lupita does have to deal with loss, and that kind of gives her hopelessness. So I will say that does have a bit of depression. So this probably could have fell under the mental health-a-thon because of her emotions after her mom passes. And yeah, she does feel hopelessness and has to kind of find her way back to where she started, you know, or leave the past in the past and move forward. Just to always keep her mom's memory with her and never forget where she came from. So yeah, that is it for the books that I read in May. I hope you guys found this wrap up interesting or good. I don't know, I kind of felt like it was all over the place, but you guys know I am horrible at wrap ups. I'm kind of thinking about stealing Donna's idea from Donna Sudoku. I'll leave her channel down below. Go check her out. She's super amazing too. Love her. I love watching her content. I think she's super chill and funny. Like, she's just somebody you want to watch here on BookTube as well. So yeah, also if you are interested in wanting to see what I'll be reading in June, let me know down below. Maybe I will post a TBR. If not, then I guess I could just do my wrap-ups and you guys will see then what I read for the month of June. I already have my books planned out for what I want to read, and I'm really excited, like really excited to get to those books already. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books before or if you plan on reading them. Yeah, that's it for right now, or that's it for this video. I'm fixing to go ice my back because it's starting to hurt really bad, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.